Hey guys, and welcome to the channel. Kawasaki has released yet another teaser on the H2, and they may have released a little bit more information than they meant to, or maybe they meant for it to be called. We're going to dig into that, and it's easy enough to miss if you watch the teaser, and we're going to go into how does this potentially stack up against the two big dogs in the industry today, and go through some specs that we already know that's coming to the H2 and what I think we're going to see some of the stuff coming with the H2. Now, I'll show the video, and it was easy enough to miss, but they did list, of course, it's 250 horsepower. It's showing at 9,000 RPM, so it's going to be a pretty screaming engine, that's for sure. But the 9.4 pounds to HP. Now that math is pretty easy to reverse math, and now we know that it weighs 2,350 pounds. Now, of course, I would assume that's driver weight, but they don't list that spec either way. Now, how does that spec out compared to the two big dogs on the playground today? One is the Pro R. It's got 225 horsepower. I looked up a few different models of the four-seater on that, found weight range from 2578 to 2441, so that puts it anywhere from 91 pounds to 228 pounds heavier than the H2 for that Pro R. And the Maverick R makes 240 horsepower, and it's anywhere from 2640 to 2610 is the weight I've seen on some of those models, and that's anywhere from a 260 to a 290 pounds heavier than the H2. Of course, depending on what model you're doing the pounds to horsepower, it varies a little bit, but the Pro R is around that 11 point something, and Maverick R is close to 11 as well. So it's definitely got the horsepower to weight right out the gate in comparison. Now, a lot of stuff still unknown as far as like transmission, gearing, and stuff like that. But being those two are already out in the market and Cowie has that measuring stick, I feel like they are going to be competitive and come out potentially the fastest side-by-side out of those three. Now, as fast as Can-Am and Polaris react to markets, it wouldn't surprise me if in a year they don't tweak or come out with something that's a little bit hyped up or a tad bit more. Now, the things that we do know about the H2 is one, this is going to be a potential for up to 5 seats. So I feel like some model may have the sportier bucketed seats in the back, but I feel like some model is going to have a bench, and this is where I'm getting a little speculative on the seating, but I feel like that bench is going to be, that center section is going to be removable. Maybe you could put some storage or something there, and I think that would be a really cool segment to come to market with. Me personally, I was debating a 4-seater for a while now, and that was the first thing I was going to do was take those two back seats out and put a bench in. One, to get that extra seat, and then two, like the dog riding with us is used to a bench, and that's how we harness her up and stuff when she does some riding with us there. So I'm excited to see that. Hopefully it's a utility fun factor, like you can use it, it's useful, but it's also got that extra seat there. We know a little bit about the suspension. It's going to be Fox Live Valve 3.0. It's going to have internal bypass with KECS. If you don't know what that is Kawasaki Electronic Controlled Suspension. Now, this is where I'm going to get a little bit more speculative on what I think is going to come out. And now, Cowie has given us the date. July 31st is when they're going to finally do the release. It's no more teaser this, teaser that. We're going to see what we're going to get or not get. Now, personally, I hope that they do a reasonable price machine for this. I'm getting a 4-seater or get something else down the road here. But I don't want to spend $50,000 for a toy that we're going to take and play like we like to play. Like, that's not in my wheelhouse. I'm not going to do that. So price point is one of those big ones, and exactly what the suspension and specs are. And the thing I've seen a patent kind of floating around, I feel like they're going to do some type of an electronic control sway bar. And if it's going to be just a switch or a manual control for that for electronic, or if it's going to be part of what mode you're in, I could see either of those coming into play there. Now, like the Maverick R, if you take it out, it's a fun machine in the dunes. Had a blast with it. But it's also, when you set a machine up to run so hard, so fast in the dunes, it typically doesn't have that flex and sway that does really good in the rocks. It's an either-or type scenario. Now, if they do come out with this, and I think they are, I think this is where it kind of fits both of those bills very well. You could have an electronic sway bar either disconnect or get very loose and do good on the rocks, and as soon as you get back out in the higher speed stuff, flip the switch or change the mode, and it could do good on that. So that's what I'm really hoping for. The other thing we don't know is what type of transmission gearing set up there. If it's a build, is it a DCT? If it is a DCT, they can potentially make it a good crawler. They just have to really gear it down really low in some type of option there. Same thing with the build. If it's a build with the wet clutch, are they going to do the full out high speed, or are they going to give it kind of a good balance where it can really do both? Hoping both, we'll see. The other thing that we know is going to be supercharged. Now, when my buddy heard the KRX, he was like, "Oh man, cool." I say KRX, the H2. He's like, "Oh man, that's turbocharged. That sounds sweet." I'm like, "Nope, we know it's supercharged." Now, this is just me from the automotive world, knowing prochargers, superchargers, turbo setups, stuff like that. I think it's going to be kind of like a procharger. It's going to have some type of intercooler, and it's going to have a blow-off valve. So I think that's a cool sound that we're hearing. I think that's some type of blow-off valve actuated. And nice thing about a supercharger in general is it typically has that snappy throttle response compared to a turbocharger that has to boost up. So I think we really see a pretty solid performing units about to come out of Kawasaki, and they have all that experience with their bikes with the H2, of course. So I think we got something really interesting coming to market. Now, compared that to like the Maverick R or the Pro R. Pro R's naturally expired and a built. The Maverick R, they actually has a really good throttle response if you put it in Sport Plus mode. Now, the best way I can kind of explain, or my understanding is one of those cylinders, when you put it in Sport Plus mode, if you're not actively in the throttle, build and boost, doing something with it, it kind of like deactivates that cylinder, and its little trick there is it's pumping air to the turbocharger, so as soon as you snap that throttle again, the pressure in that boost is just ready for you, and it's there. Like if you run around in Sport Plus mode and you in and out the throttle, I give it to them. It's really responsive. So we'll see. Cowie's got the measuring sticks are already out there. Just waiting to see what they come out to market. I'm kind of excited. But if you got any speculations, or you think what is or isn't coming to market, or if I'm right or wrong, drop it in the comments. But hey, we ain't got too much farther. We get to find out what this thing finally is. I feel like they've had that little carrot out in front for quite a while now, knowing that it's one of those, like, even before they did the teasers, it's been very much talked about, even in Cowie's world, that, hey, hint, hint, something's coming, but we've just been waiting a really long time to see what this something is. Till the next adventure, hope you have a good one.